Hi there guys, Vino here and welcome to this Vino Plug production and welcome to this OTGV video or on the go video or a video from my phone or specifically a vlog. It's currently 10 to 5 p.m. on Wednesday the 5th of November 2025. Remember the 5th of November with gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder and treason should ever be forgot. I've just got home from work. I took an early day today because there is football on today in my local city, and it would have taken me like 3 hours to get home otherwise. I have with me some fish and chips here that I'm very much looking forward to, and my Power Ranger comics have arrived as well, so it's going to be a very good day. So I thought I'd show you guys my fish and chips. Large cod, regular chips. This is very much a large cod and I'm going to enjoy this immensely. And there, over there, is the package with my Power Rangers Boom Studios comics inside. I'm looking forward to it. For now, I'm going to watch some YouTube. The latest video, what do you call it? Sorted Food should be out in about 5 minutes. So I'll watch that and go from there. Hi there guys, so it's currently 11 a.m. on Friday the 7th of November 2025. Hope you guys are doing really well. I'm doing pretty good at the moment, apart from the fact I think I've just been shafted by CD Keys, which it was going to happen eventually. To be honest, in the interim, since my Power Rangers comics arriving the other day, I've also received some more comics that I bought, which I went ahead and bought Green Lantern, Blackest Night, which for those of you who've been a part of my channel for a while know I've wanted to read this comic for quite some time now. This was part of the Eagle Moss graphic novel, DC graphic novel connection, but I also picked up Prelude to Blackest Night. So what this does, it compiles a bunch of issues from Green Lantern and other comics from over the years that basically lead into how Blackest Night happened, basically. So if you were to buy the big old omnibus that you can buy, that's like 90 odd pound, to be honest, that omnibus contains all the comics that you need in order to lead up to Blackest Night. Because what happened, Blackest Night was basically a massive event in the DC world at the time, in the DC comics at the time. I'm surprised it hasn't been done on the big screen or even the small screen, but I'm very surprised Blackest Night hasn't been translated onto the big or small screen at some point. It probably would be at some point, but it was an absolute massive event that was, what's the word, teased many times in various comics. So you could be reading Green Lantern, for instance, and there'll be a issue at some point, one of the issues that teases that there's something going on in the background. You could be reading a Batman comic, you know, and then there'll be a little issue that would tease something's happening with when it comes to Blackest Night. You could be reading Wonder Woman. I don't know. There are many different obviously DC characters, but you could be reading any of those comics and there'll be an issue that sort of teases what's happening when it comes to Blackest Night, and Prelude to Blackest Night compiles those together so you get a bit more of an understanding of how Blackest Night came about, basically. Because when you read Blackest Night, it kind of throws you straight into what's going on. The premise of Blackest Night, if you didn't know, is basically Bruce Wayne, Batman, has just been killed. They are mourning the loss of their friend. And then, unbeknownst to them, there is a shady corps going on in the background, the Black Lantern Corps. We'll talk about those in a moment. But they're behind the scenes sort of puppeting strings in the background. And then Bruce Wayne comes back to life, basically, as a zombified version of himself. You then find out in the story, bit of a spoiler alert, but anyway, that the Black lantern core, which have black rings. Basically, they will attach themselves to dead people, essentially, and bring them back to life, essentially. And you find out there is a person that's behind all of this, and that's what's basically documented in this comic. But I also picked up, and it's just here, I also picked up Brightest Day Part 1 and Brightest Day Part 2. Brightest Day was the sequel comic that came after Blackest Night. I won't reveal what happens at the end of Blackest Night. I know, actually, because I've watched a number of YouTube videos on the whole situation. But basically, after the events of Blackest Night, Brightest Day basically looks at what happened after the events of Blackest Night. Basically, the struggles, what they had to do, the fact that a lot of their friends came back to life during Blackest Night. They've got to deal with that. A lot of people died during Blackest Night. Spoilers, but, you know, that happens in the comics much more than it does in the movies and the TV shows. Obviously the comics are a lot darker and a lot more mature than what you see on the TV. Most of the time we're in the movies, so they've got to deal with the fallout of Blackest Night. I have heard that Brightest Day isn't as good as Blackest Night, and a lot of people don't enjoy it. Blackest Night has won many awards over the years, is considered one of the best DC comics or sagas within DC, and then they follow it up with Brightest Day. And there are a lot of people that say, yeah, Brightest Day is not that good. But having said that, it's always going to be compared to Blackest Night. And when you have something that's as well received as Blackest Night, and you follow up with a sequel saga, it's never going to live up to the same grandeur as that. But obviously, I wanted this for completeness sake, because obviously it is the sequel saga after Blackest Night. So what's happened is Battlestar Galactica Deadlock is being delisted from Steam as of the 15th of November. I believe the rights have been taken away from, is it Slytherin Studios? I think that's the name of the developer behind Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. And on Steam, if you want to buy the whole lot, it's like £95 at the moment, if you want to buy the whole lot together. CD keys, I can get them all for a tenner, basically. So I gave CD keys my money, and the codes they give me don't work. So that's annoying in more ways than one. And trying to log onto their website is like pulling hen's teeth. So, yeah, this is not good. Luckily, I did pay for it via PayPal, and I did that on purpose because I can raise a dispute through PayPal and get my money back. But obviously, it's a bit of a ball ache. I've shopped through CD keys many times over the years and never had an issue with any of their codes. The first time I've had an issue with the codes, and it seems to me they've made raising a dispute with them really hard, which is probably on purpose. They're hoping that obviously most people will spend a few pound here and there on the key. If it doesn't work, they'll just chalk it up to one of those things and move on, and won't try and raise a complaint, basically, raise an issue. And obviously, if they can make it hard to do so, and stop people doing so, they still get your money. Basically, that's the way most of these companies work, because I'll be honest with you, CD keys very much works in a grey area, if not a straight up black area, to be honest. I know what I'm doing when I buy through them, which is why I use a place like PayPal to sort of protect myself a little bit more. Allows me to raise a dispute through PayPal, and PayPal are far more likely to give me my money back than my bank would be, to be honest. So there's that, but I haven't had an issue up until this point. But they very much work in a grey area, and in terms of the law, to be honest. So if they can make it difficult for you to get your money back, they will do, basically. Anyway, I'm going to go for I'm going to break at the moment from work. I start again at 12, although I'm probably going to take a lunch from 12 to 12:30. But yeah, I'm going to lost my train of thought there. I'm going to keep trying to see if I can get this working. If not, I'll save it. I'll leave it for now, sorry, and then I'll come back to it later on. Maybe we'll see how things go. Anyway, speak to you later, guys. I completely forgot about something I was going to talk about in that segment, and I've just remembered it because I just got notification about it. So I've gone on a bit of a, I'm just going to call it an autistic tangent over the last day or two, because I have. So somebody on Facebook Marketplace was selling a Amstrad PCW 8512. And I went on a bit of a rabbit hole down the internet to find out what this computer was all about, because it's a computer. It's a word processor that got released in the 80s by Amstrad, but one of the unique things about it, it uses 3-inch compact floppy disks, which were different to 3.5 inch. Now I've gone a bit of a tangent, and I've become a bit obsessed with 3-inch floppies over the last couple of days. It happens sometimes. Anyway, so the person on Facebook Marketplace has sold their computer, their word processor. They were actually rather rude to me, and they can fuck off as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, they've sold their computer, so I can't get it off of them. However, I just bought one off of eBay. It's coming from Norwich, and it has the screen, keyboard, the printer, spare printer ribbon, as well as the discs. And that's the main thing that I wanted to make sure I got. I did just spend £125 on it, and it's £15 postage and packaging, which makes sense, to be honest, given it's quite a heavy item. But it's the discs that are the main thing. If you look on the keyboard, for that matter, if you go onto eBay and look up just the keyboard, because there's a lot being sold on eBay, it's just they either don't have the keyboard or don't have the discs. The thing doesn't have a hard drive, doesn't have a way of storing data on the actual thing itself. So you have to put a disc in and then load up your program into RAM. And then that's the way it basically runs, essentially. The discs are expensive. Even blank 3-inch discs or compact floppy discs are expensive. So finding the discs is almost worth the price of admission. And this person has a bunch of the applications. They even sold, back in the day, and this gives you an idea, the manual on a disc. You're going to get the manual physically, but you could put an interactive manual in there as well, just an example. But there's a couple of applications that are required to work the thing, so to speak. So having the discs is paramount. So I have just spent £135, no, £140 on that, due to a due to a obsession, autistic obsession. That's what I'm going to call it. Anyway, speak to you guys later. Hi guys, so it's currently coming up for 1:20 on Monday the 10th of November 2025. How are you guys doing? I'm doing really well, working from home today, as you can see. I do have a special something arriving that I don't know what it is, it's a surprise. So my good friend Luke has ordered me something, I think from Amazon, for my birthday, which is this coming Sunday on the 16th. It was supposed to arrive yesterday, but didn't turn up. Hopefully it'll arrive today. There's quite a bit of commotion up there right now, so I don't know whether the delivery driver is about to deliver it. I keep checking our Ring camera, because one of our Amazon delivery drivers has a strong tendency to just leave a package on the porch and bugger off. I actually watched him do it the other day. I was walking on Friday, because I work from home Friday. I was walking back from the shop at the end of my road, and he popped the package on the person's porch, and didn't even ring the doorbell, did nothing, just put the package on the porch and buggered off. So I'm very sort of paranoid, I suppose you could say, making sure that I catch the package. I'm really hoping it's not him, it's somebody else, and they do ring the doorbell, or he puts it on the porch and then rings the doorbell. So I keep checking the Ring footage to see whether my package has been delivered. But yes, looking forward to that. Today has been good so far in terms of work. Just on a short break now. I'm going to head and get back to work in a moment. And today's going to be a good day, I feel. Haven't had a tracking update on the computer that I ordered from eBay, the Amstrad PCW 8256. Haven't had an update on that just yet. Supposedly, due to the seller, they are saying that DHL are due to pick it up today. So hopefully they pick it up and it will be delivered in due course. Oh dear, what a yawn. Yep, in due course. And yeah, I do have a couple of phone calls to make at some point. Don't know if I'll get time today. Maybe I'll do them tomorrow. We'll see how things go. I do have a couple of phone calls to make at some point. Bit of a rainy day today, but I don't mind. I like the rain, especially when I'm not out in it. Cozy, the heating's on, so I'm cozy indoors. So, you know, it can rain as much as it likes because I am indoors and not out in it at this precise moment in time. But yeah, that's what's happening with me. Just working away, waiting for the package to be delivered from Luke. I'm curious as to what it is. He has given a couple of hints, but he is known to give red herrings when it comes to things that he's ordered me in the past. So we'll see what happens on that one. Anyway, I'm going to head back to work, or get back to work, and I'll catch you guys in a little while. Hi there guys, it's currently 10 to 5 p.m, still on Monday the 10th of November 2025, and I've received it, and it is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Thank you very, very much, Luke. I have wanted this game and to check it out and everything. Grew up with Metal Gear Solid back in the day, and MGS3 might be my favourite, maybe. Between this and 4, Guns of the Patriots, it's up there, And I wanted to replay this recently. I do have the PS2 edition somewhere, but obviously having this on PS5, it's PS5 Pro Enhanced, I have a PS5 Pro, so very much going to look forward to playing this later on today. And as a result, this OTGV might come to a very abrupt end, so I can send this video to Luke so he can see my reaction. Thank you very, very much, matey, for this one. I've already sent him a message on Messenger, obviously, but yeah, very, very happy. This is now in the collection, and I'm going to look forward to playing through this. I'll check back with you guys later on. Hi there guys, so this is me just coming on here to sign off on this OTGV because I want to get it edited and uploaded in time for Luke to get home from work so you can see my reaction to Metal Gear Solid 3 Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I'm going to leave my opinions for the remake to the next OTGV. Going to leave a little breadcrumb trail there for people to follow me into the next OTGV. But thank you very much for watching this video. You can like it or dislike it depending on how you feel. Hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around for more content. But until next time guys, please take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.